You're listening to Current Culture, the culture criticism podcast brought to you by the Long Beach Current. This is Season 1, Episode 1, and today we're talking about Friday the 13th.
My name is Alexis DiMaria. I'm the opinions assistant for the Long Beach Current.
I'm Rihansa Kolathilka, and I am the photo assistant for the Long Beach Current as well.
And I'm Christian Robledo. I'm the opinions assistant for the Long Beach Current. So, don't change the channel, because we've got so much to say. Okay, ladies, today we're talking about Friday the 13th. We recently saw the movie. Let's get started with just some basic thoughts.
So I thought this was a really fun rewatch, especially doing it with Rihansa, because I know this was your first watch.
It was.
And on the rewatch, I would say this is just such a fun, silly movie. And, you know, the intro scene is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to that fun campiness. When that first kill, when it cuts to slow-mo of the first woman dying, zooms in, fade to black, fade to white, glass break sound effect, and then zoom in the title screen. Where else do you see that in other movies?
You don't.
Yeah.
Ronsa, it being your first time, what do you think?
I think, honestly, it was definitely an experience because I know that a lot of horror movies, they have this kind of vibe where it's just, it really can't be. Like, it's to the point where it kind of gets iconic because of how campy it is, if that makes sense. But me personally, I think it was okay. I wouldn't say that I loved it, but to me, it was really, it was giving it like an iconic kind of horror movie. So to me, I liked it in that sense. But yeah, what about you, Christian?
I like the movie. I think it's, like Alexa says, really campy. I think it leans on cheesy and kind of trashy, but I think that was almost the point.
Yeah,
You know what
I think
For
it's demonstrating the extremes of the fundamentals of horror, and I am such a sucker for a summer camp horror movie theme, so this was just such a fun watch.
Speaking of summer camp, have any of you gone to summer camp?
I have not gone to summer camp, but I have been a summer camp counselor for 2 years, and so that maybe is why my heart is so fond in this, and just the creepiness of this movie was just amazing.
Rahansa?
I mean, I've been to summer camp, but it's not really, it's not exactly a summer camp. It's more like I was just there. It was like
You were physically there.
It was a summer school kind of in a way, but it's not school. It was just, they called it a summer camp, but it was just like an extra kind of school kind of thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, what you?
No, on summer camp, but I feel like Alexis should be way more scared that she was a camp counselor.
I don't think it's scary at all, and I think what I love about Friday the 13th, I started watching horror movies really, I wouldn't say really late, but I think a lot of kids when they're preteens, they start sneaking horror movies early, and it has that excitement. But I was genuinely just scared. Like, I didn't start watching Stranger Things when it first came out because I was scared of it. But now, to return to these, it's just super fun. And the long, prolonged shots in this movie was just really fun. Like, the peering around the trees, the peering around the corner when you don't know who the killer is yet, and I'm not going to spoil it yet. I know we'll talk about it later.
We'll wait.
If any listeners have not watched this 1980 movie, please do not keep listening if you do not want to hear spoilers.
Spoilers ahead for the movie that is ancient.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just dive into the movie, I guess. I know we took some notes. I know that we all have some really big opinions. Let's get them going.
Okay. Yeah. I'll start with the introduction of some of the other camp counselor characters, and I think something that we all noticed on our watch of this movie is that they don't really want you to be invested in the names of these characters. They don't really want you to be invested in the lives of these characters. They are just a vessel to be killed.
Yeah.
So, do you guys recall when 3 of the counselors are driving and we see them for the first time, and it's 2 of the male counselors and the female counselor? I thought that was really interesting because it was kind of giving a girl with 2 boyfriends type situation.
Challengers-esque.
Yeah, very Challengers-esque. And I really enjoyed the cutoff denim in this movie.
The short shorts.
Yes, we were talking about that.
Big appeal, you could say, is that the 80s fashion is on brand in this movie. Big flowy garments at points, but also the short shorts.
Short shorts. What do you think?
I personally am not the biggest fan of the short shorts, but I think in this movie, it's absolutely hysterical. There's one character early on who just refuses to wear clothes in like a bunch of these early scenes.
a lot of the characters are very scantily clad for a lot of situations where they probably should have clothes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely thought, like, it was kind of iconic in a way. Like, even though me personally, I don't like short shorts, I thought in that sense it was funny for it being in a horror movie. It was fun.
I'm sure it was playing on like the vulnerability of these characters out in the forest, isolated, and they have no shield. Like this is their humanity.
No clothes, vulnerable, isolated, vulnerable. I see. But it's also this like era of movie that was very sex sells. Like that was a big branding. So what do you guys think about that? Because I know we talked about how like you don't get to know these characters at all, but you see a lot of them.
I think not only sex sells in this movie, but just the way that female characters are written in horror movies this is an interesting case study for that. Especially, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the first scenes for a lot of these female characters were introduced and they were sexually harassed within like the first scene.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of say something more of what you were gonna say. I realized that a lot of the sex scenes led to, like, sin is basically, once you've sinned, that means you're dead. You're marked for life. You're dead. So, like, with that, I noticed that they do make a big deal out of it, especially when it comes to, like, sexual harassment with the women in the film, so.
Yeah, I would say that was a big shocker when watching the film. It was very in your face at times.
And unnecessary at times. I think the one that was really not unsettling to me, but just like shocking, was when the cook is arriving and she's getting a lift from the older man in the town, and he's lifting her up into the truck and grabs both of her butt cheeks, lifting her up. And I'm not sure how old the actors were for this movie, but I'm presuming that they're supposed to be teenagers. So just a really interesting, unnecessary choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for it being in the 80s, it makes sense, but it shouldn't be, normalized in that way.
Mm-mm.
But
it doesn't add to the campiness
at
all.
No.
It really doesn't, no.
It adds to the trashy pulpness of it, which there's a market for that, of course, but I don't know if that's what we were looking for.
No.
I wrote down a fun fact that I'd like to share with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that the snake in the beginning of the movie, where they cut it up in the cabin, that was a real snake?
Yeah, that makes sense.
They cut up a real snake?
They cut up a real snake, and PETA was very upset at this movie.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, it was like, that was just another thing on top of people not liking horror movies.
And to not skimp on the real effects for the animal killing, but we're not going to actually kill the actors. What's up, guys?
Yeah,
Right, no, big drawback. We found out they lived.
Kevin Bacon had a successful career after this?
No.
I think one of the really campy, really funny moments of this film is one of the more ominous, not deaths, but the near-death experience for the character who was swimming in the lake, and he just started putting his hands up and struggling.
Oh my
And
God.
Yes.
I thought it was really interesting that they pulled out a kayak to paddle out to him as he was drowning, and then the scene zooms out a little bit and you can see that he was drowning maybe 2 feet from the dock, and another character is handing him the life ring while standing on the dock.
She's in grabbing distance of this man and just not helping him.
No, not at all. And your first thought is to, let's go get the kayak on the shore and paddle it out right now.
Absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah, there's no need for that, but also at the same time, it was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie.
No, it was really funny. And I think like early slasher films like this, I really appreciate because nobody was safe in these movies.
No.
I think maybe 2-3 characters that were introduced survived.
I thought it was only the Scream Queen.
Well, what about the old woman working at the diner?
Oh, and the old man at the beginning
yeah.
who's like very religious. He
Yes.
survived.
Oh, I guess that kind of plays a part, like, on the sin kind of area. Like,
that you were commented on.
yeah, if you were more religious, that means you have a higher chance of surviving, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
definitely played that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you two.
Okay.
Okay.
At which ominous warning would you have turned back and not gone to Camp Crystal Lake, or would you have ignored them and gone just like the rest of these characters?
I would have left right once they said something about the killings in the past. I would have left, like, gone immediately.
See, now there's a part of me that's like, oh, killings in the place that I'm going to. Now I'm intrigued. Now I want to go. But I would say after I got up there and like realized the lack of amenities, I wouldn't be there. Just because like I can't even go camping. I'm like glamping. Like I need an RV. I wouldn't have liked it for the sole reason of being on that mountain.
Exactly. I can't do I can do nature, but not living in nature. That I can't do. Props to the people who do, but I can't.
No. Could you do it?
I feel like growing up in Southern California, I never got to connect with nature in that way. And so I do love to go out into the wilderness and like not shower and be disconnected from everything because I feel like we can't do that here.
Also, for all our audio listeners, I'm so sorry you can't see Alexis's great camper fit today.
Yeah, I'm inspired by the camp owner, so that's why I'm wearing my red bow tie. That's why I'm wearing my horse belt buckle and my light wash denim, which I normally don't step out and do.
Light wash denim was a choice, but for this movie, the correct choice.
Necessary, yeah.
You said you had a brief history of Friday the 13th for us.
Yes, I do. So, fun fact. Okay. So, we all know Loki, correct?
Loki,
Yes?
the Marvel character.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Yes.
before that, from Norse mythology.
Okay.
The reason why number 13 is actually so unlucky, or one of the many reasons why, is because during a banquet held in Valhalla, he crashed in during one of said banquets, and because of that, he kind of just ruined it, because there were 12 original gods meant to be invited, but he just crashed in and decided to be like, hey, I'm here. So him being the additional guest, number 13, that kind of became a thing, like
For the unluckiness of the number.
Yeah.
But I wonder if this movie made the number more unlucky or brought in the more campy culture that we see now with like the piercings and the tattoos that people get on the day.
I think it's interesting for this movie because it's June 13th, not October,
Not October.
13th. I think Friday the 13th often gets associated with like Halloween time, creepy, spookiness, but I think it's a superstition that carries on for the rest of the year.
Regardless of the month, because we looked at the math yesterday, every month has the possibility of having a Friday the 13th. As you know, later on in the podcast, we will be doing ins and outs. But in this movie, they play the game Strip Monopoly. Are you in or are you out?
Out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
See,
I can't, I'm going to be cold being naked that long.
in the rain, mind you.
Exactly. Ooh.
It rains halfway through that movie. No, yeah, I'm going to have to say out. But it was one of the funniest scenes, I think.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting a game to play when you're trying to get people to take their clothes off. To play like an excessively long game is just maybe they didn't even want to see people get naked.
No, that game never ends.
It never ends. Like, I wonder, like, they eventually ended it. Like,
Because the character had to go to the bathroom.
oh, yeah. And they just ended it.
They just said no. We're done.
Well,
Before we move into our next section, what do you guys think about the Scream Queen in this movie? I don't remember her name, the character's name, nor the actress. Sorry, guys. But I honestly thought she did a very good job of being a Scream Queen, minus the ending, which we'll touch on later.
she's the blonde one, right?
Yeah.
Or, okay, the blonde with the bob.
Blonde with the
I
bob.
love her. I loved her. I think she did a great job when it came to being, the Scream Queen. But again, compared to other Scream Queens, I think she's not the best, but she's definitely good at being a Scream Queen.
Okay.
I think she did a good job of selling the final fight scene, which was definitely written unrealistically and a little bit strange. So I appreciate her commitment to that. It felt realistic to me.
All right. And with that, ladies, I think it's time to move into our next section. To our viewers / listeners, depends on what you're doing. This next section is where we are going to bring in some audio bites. We've all gone out and collected some interviews about Friday the 13th. Some people have commentary on the movie. Some people have questions for us. So we're going to play it. And each of us has collected something that the other hosts have not heard. So let's start with Alexis's audio.
All right.
My name is Justin Stock. I'm 27 and I'm a journalism major in his junior year. Yeah, I would say the first time I saw Friday the 13th was probably when I was around 13 to 14 years old and I was sneaking horror movies that I wasn't allowed to watch. The camp saved it. Like, it just was so much fun. All of the characters are complete cardboard cutouts of, like, archetypes in teen movies. And they just really went hand with murdering every single one of them. The whole chase scene with the mother, the entire chase scene of her just, like, screaming and just, like, running after her, like, an insane person. That's probably my favorite part of that movie. Baby Jason coming out of the lake, jump scare at the end. I get that it might have just been a dream sequence. I'm not really sure. It was like nightmare. It doesn't really tell you. Like, was this a nightmare? Was she rescued from this? What was your favorite death and what was your least favorite death?
Thank you so much, Justin, for sending in your audio clip. Now, he asked us a couple questions and said some really awesome things. What was your least favorite death and your most favorite death?
Okay, because Rahans and I have not heard this clip before, so
You're right.
trying to run it through my head.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. That's the point. My favorite death is gonna have to be, it's the woman in the bed, and they stick it's some sort of knife or like an arrow through her throat.
Yes.
And it gushes out, and it's absolutely wonderful. Love that death.
I was gonna say the one where was it the one where the girl leaves to go to the bathroom, or was it?
Oh, you're talking about the axe.
The axe. That one is really cool. Like when it comes to like
prosthetics.
Effects, yes,
very convincing.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
He also comments on the ending.
Yes, do you want to talk about it?
Okay, they both know I have a problem with this movie's ending. It ends with presumably Ghost Jason hopping out of the boat and tackling our Scream Queen, who has just gone through a fight with his mother, who is revealed to be the killer. Spoilers for the ancient movie. And I don't know. It just feels lackluster. It feels uninspiring. I don't know. I don't mess with the ending of this movie.
Honestly, no. Yeah, I kind of understand your view because, to me, have you guys ever seen Scream 2?
I love Scream.
Yes.
The second one where the mom gets revenge on, was it Stu or?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was Stu.
Yeah, Stu. So I think it kind of gave that kind of vibe, as in like you're getting revenge and everything, but at the end it doesn't pay up. Like it makes sense, but it doesn't have that kind of effect. It doesn't feel that fun in that way.
What about you, Alexis?
I think this ending is pretty expected for me, just seeing the way the Friday the 13th franchise has continued throughout the years. I don't know what the count of movies past this one is, but I know it's at least 5. So I have a feeling that the rest of the endings, they couldn't just clean up the story at the end of the first movie. How would they continue their beautiful franchise?
One last thing before we move on from the ending. Can we talk about the campiness of how Mrs. Voorhees is killed? She's killed with a machete, no?
I was about to say that was my favorite death in the whole movie.
Really?
Yes.
You know,
Talk about it.
Yeah.
I just think, obviously, one machete, one fell swoop of the machete is not going to decapitate someone and send their head flying 10 feet in the other direction. So I just thought... And
with her hand.
Yes, and reaching, after your head's cut off, reaching up with your hands and feeling for your head that's not there, just amazing.
So funny.
Yeah. I was going to say, kind of off topic, but that whole, like, the chase scene that Justin was talking about, it reminded me a lot of, like, Psycho.
Oh, yeah.
By how everything was shot. It was, like, super up close, and I feel like with Psycho, it's super up close as well. So I kind of just like that kind of connection, but I don't know.
You know what? That's actually a great segue to our next audio clip, who's from Delfino, who is our arts and life editor here at The Current, who loves horror movies and especially loves Psycho. So here's Delfino.
So my name is Delfino Camacho. I'm a journalism major, and besides being the arts and life editor here at the Long Beach Current, I'm a huge movie buff. I'm especially a big fan of horror movies. So I would say I have an affinity for the Friday the 13th movies. I like them quite a bit. I don't know if I've ever like really loved them. Maybe one or two individual ones. It'd probably be the ones I really love are kind of like the campier ones. My hard thoughts on Friday the 13th are they are sort of like the working man slasher movie, if that makes any sense. They're not the first. If you know a little bit of history about slasher movies, Halloween gets that credit a lot, even though it's not officially the first, but it was maybe the first popularized one. You can go back to maybe movies like Psycho, if you count that, maybe movies for like Black Christmas, which predates Halloween. Um, I don't think slashers get a lot of credit. I think they are trashy, pulpy cinema, but I don't think there's anything wrong with trash or pulp. I like things that maybe have a bit more substance, but I think there's also a reason to just have fun. I think there's art in prosthetics as much as people might think it is. I think there's artwork and like fun horror design. It's not ever going to have the greatest stories. The characters aren't really characters. They're kind of just excuses for like fun kills. But I have a lot of respect for Friday the 13th because it's like the working jogger slasher. It's been around forever.
And that was Delfino. Thank you so much. What do you guys think?
I agree with him.
Yeah,
it
I
is a
agree.
utilitarian. It gets the job done.
Yeah, I agree especially with the fact about it being like trashy and campy. It's definitely what it is. That is what it is. And yeah, and the prosthetics, yeah, for sure, it was amazing. So,
Yeah, it was good for what it was doing at the time. Any more comments before we move on to our next audio? Okay.
The next one is from Dante, our multimedia editor.
All right, here we go.
Hi, my name is Dante Estrada. My year major is fourth year, journalism major. I think it's a pretty good classic, like horror movie. I don't think it was anything. If we're talking like the very first one, I think from 1980, I believe, right? Yeah, I mean, I thought it was like pretty good of a movie. I've only watched it maybe like once when I was a child. I don't know why, but it was good. I mean, Jason's not even in this movie, so I think I really care about the ones that Jason Voorhees is in. I feel like the franchise doesn't really pick up until like the second and third movie, but I feel like it really becomes more of a classic because when you think Friday the 13th, you think guy in a white hockey mask with a giant machete. You don't think random person just crawling around the lake, in my opinion.
Thank you so much, Dante.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Dante.
Dante.
Thoughts, Alexis?
I thought that was a really good audio clip talking about the way that this franchise has developed. On this rewatch, it was really shocking to me that Jason only appears as his homunculus baby swamp
Child,
creature form, and that appearance isn't even confirmed. Was that a dream sequence? Do you guys think it was real or no?
Let's ask Rahansa first because I've seen the second movie.
I think it was a dream sequence, no? Or
In the second movie, spoilers again for ancient movies, it was just apparently real, and he's just fine. The kid is fine.
Why do you think he comes back in the second movie as a full-grown adult man, but in this movie he's like a swamp creature?
It's so off-putting because like the whole point is that Miss Voorhees comes back after a while, which means Jason wouldn't have been a kid if he had been surviving under the lake. But in the next movie, it's like X amount of summers later, and he's a full-grown 40-year-old man. I don't really understand it. I don't. And Rahansa's just shaking her head. She doesn't get it at all.
no, I'm just lost. I haven't even watched the second one.
Yeah.
So.
But also, he does bring up a good fact. Jason isn't the killer here, and I think the image of Friday the 13th is always that mask, and it's not here at all. Ms. Voorhees doesn't wear it, and even the art for the movie is like what presumably a manly figure holding a knife, showing Camp Crystal Lake, which is incorrect. That's not what the movie is. And to that point, you know what I don't like is that Miss Voorhees only comes in once she's revealed as the killer. You never meet her before then. So it's not even like a murder mystery vibe.
It's just kind of random. Like with I guess in Scream 2, it kind of builds up to it. But here it's just like, boom, she's just there. So I guess it is kind of random. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like how Dune 1 and how the Phantom Menace are just elaborate setups for a much more robust, fuller second and third and 4th and 5th movie. Hopefully Dune gets 5 movies. That's my hope. But
She has high hopes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
high hope.
but yeah, it was just really interesting that Jason, that mask does not appear, but it's the classic iconography of the series.
And as we move into our last section, I would like to bring up the fact that this movie is pretty much basically a ripoff of Halloween, even down to our favorite sound of the film. Ready?
Yes.
Go, Alexis.
Ch, ch, ch.
It is the funniest thing ever. It happens throughout the film multiple times, and it's never explained.
No, it's not explained whether the characters can hear it. I think it just might be one of those artificial sounds they needed to add, just like the mourning dove calls that
Go
they
ahead and
add.
give us a... All those fake sounds in this old movie, like, are they coming from Miss Voorhees?
Nope.
No.
Just the voices.
Just the voices of the forest.
Is it to indicate that someone's gonna die?
No.
I think it's
No.
just to add
randomly
like
placed?
I think it's just there to add like kind of vibe to the movie, but like also at the same time it's just random.
It's so camp. It doesn't even happen every time.
Exactly.
No.
They
And
probably just like put it in whenever they need something interesting to happen.
Yeah. With that, I think our commentary on the movie has come to a close. Thank you all very much. And for our new listeners / viewers, I'll figure out a better way to say that. We end every episode with a personal in and out that we don't explain, but everyone gets to react to. So we'll start with one of you.
Are we doing our ins first?
Yeah, let's do both in and out, and then Hansa and I will react.
Okay. My in is bringing up a strange dream that you had the night before that you're still confused about to your friends.
Yes.
So real.
Yes,
And
for
you know what?
sure.
That's our editor. She's having a good time.
And Christian, I remember the scene where that character is talking about her dream of the rainstorm and it turns into blood, and you were like, I don't understand the significance of this scene, but I personally really related to that. So that's my in.
That's your in, because in the movie, she brings up like some blood dream she has. And I was like, what does this have to do with anything?
It was relevant in that case. It was like foreshadowing, so
It was.
Yeah.
No, Alexis was completely correct.
Yep.
What's your out, Alexis?
My out is going to the outhouse alone.
Real. I don't like peeing alone is its own thing. Like, it's like in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the night. It's just like bring a lamp, maybe.
Yeah.
It's scary. Okay, Rahansa, you ready?
So I wasn't on theme, but my in. Wait, are you guys ready for it?
I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Oh, it's not that good, but like Among Us.
And you know what? Stop there, Alexis.
If a bonus is in, what's your
No, because that was so out of left field. I guess you could say it's somewhat like Friday the 13th. And you know what? Maybe you just personally like to play Among Us a lot, and that's not to be ashamed.
Mind
Yeah.
you, I've never played Among Us.
Oh, so this is just coming out of nowhere.
Well, speaking of summer camp, a really good summer camp game to play that I would play a lot with my students was Mafia, which is just
Oh my God,
Among
yes.
Us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a good suspenseful game.
Okay, on that note, what's your out? And I'm scared.
It's random. Soda.
Okay, and do they even drink a soda in this movie? I don't even think they do.
Exactly.
So it was out in the
Proves
movie
my
as well.
point.
Yeah.
Proves my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do mine.
Yep.
In having glasses that are foggy the entire movie. The main character's glasses are foggy the entire time, and it kind of made me chuckle.
Have you experienced a hot, humid New Jersey summer, though?
No, I haven't.
So maybe it was not their choice.
Maybe it just happened. And I'm going to say out denim. Guys, I know. The denim, it got to me. It got to me in this movie.
Is it light wash denim or just denim?
Oh.
Denim at all?
Are you pointing at both of us wearing denim right
No,
now?
I think you guys are making it look really good, and this movie did not do denim justice.
They did the short shorts.
They did it.
versus-
Yeah, they gave it the short end of the stick.
I'm really gonna have to disagree with this.
And you know what? And that's okay.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you all for listening. And a special thank you to our editor, Gianna Echeverria, and our producer, Dante Estrada. Follow our stories on lbcurrent.com and at lbcurrent on Instagram for more current culture. And please tune in next time. Thank you.
Thank you.